All right, a beautiful welcome. It's good to be here again. And of course, it's Wednesday. It's the 12th of November, 2024. We're wrapping up the year pretty soon. My name is Rose Blossom. Of course, you're welcome to Women's Corner. We talk about women, empower women, and at the same time, we try to promote good education, information, and of course, when it comes to regards of marriage, relationship, lifestyle, even as an entrepreneur, we'll try to empower you and we'll try to, bring mentors that could actually be a very good mentor to you in terms of businesses and of course in lifestyle. So remember that this program runs from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and of course, we talk about every angle in life that has to do with women. So, but you can join us on our Facebook and Twitter at Galaxy Television. On Facebook is Galaxy TV Web, and we have our YouTube channels. We have Galaxy TV News, Galaxy TV Comedy, and Galaxy TV Entertainment. Also, we have an app on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, so you can always, download the app and watch our live programs. Okay, today we'll be talking about something quite interesting, and this one is a success story of one of our favorite women in Nigeria. I'm going to use that. Yes. So she'll be sharing her story, how she got to be where she is, and definitely she'll be educating us on her professionalism in the field of nutrition, especially when it relates to cervical cancer. So, but first, before we take our guest and of course introduce our guest, let's quickly go for a short break. And after the short break, we'll have tips for adulteration, so you don't buy adulterated product, or we know we eat a lot of canned and packaged food that are processed. So even for raw fruit or raw food, there are ways you can actually prevent adulteration. So let's quickly check these food tips, and we'll be right back to introduce our guest and we'll start talking. Stay with us.
6 safety tips to avoid adulteration. Here are 6 basic safety tips to avoid adulteration. Choose better. This is the first barrier of the first line in defense of ensuring the food is aptly chosen by the consumer, considering the health benefit. Avoid choosing products in loose packaging. Drink safe water. Use water after properly purifying it. A combination of purification methods like water purifier, heating, etc. can be used to ensure quality. Often we miss out on water quality, which is one of the major sources of food contamination. Be aware. The recent Adulteration Analysis at Home ebook released by FSSAI DART, Detect Adulterated Wheat Rapid Test, a must-have for all food businesses, companies and majorly homes to check for adulteration by using locally available chemicals. It might be an all-comprehensive solution as to methods used for estimation. Don't let the manufacturers con you. Just because the ingredients seem healthier options doesn't mean they are. Always look up for the claims made by the food businesses using alternate, healthier choices. For example, several artificial sweeteners use ingredients which do more harm to the body than natural sugars can assume to do. Dig deeper. Often, we claim that the product was prepared steaming hot right in front of us. We forget that the ingredients that are used like frying oil might be reused and can be harmful to the health. Food coloring mixed while preparing food served to you can be equally harmful. Observe while the local food vendors or the vendors in your cafeteria make something. If it doesn't seem right, healthy, stale, or adulterated, then it should be avoided. Avoid food items with unnaturally dark colors. Always check out food items no matter how nice it appears to be.
All right, welcome back. So I'm just going to introduce my guest very quickly because, time is running. Okay, we have Dr. Olabisi Ademosun. She's an entrepreneur and she's also the CEO of Teat Food Heaven. She's a lecturer, she's a speaker, a facilitator, she's an academic mentor, she's also a community leader. She is a developed food mix with high potential. She has developed food mix with high potential for prophylactic treatment of cervical cancer. She's the founder of Winning Moms Nigeria and Incubation Innovation Hub. also the convener of Operation Hope. Good morning, Dr. Olabisi.
Good morning,
Can we
ma'am.
have
How
doctor
are
on the
you?
screen, please?
Can you hear me? Can you
Okay,
hear
while
me?
we wait for doctor to join us, let's quickly go check her video where she was producing some of this mixture treatment. Something it's still patent anyways. It's not yet out. So it's one of the food treatment for cervical cancer, which she has been producing for quite a while. And of course, she's a senior lecturer in a school, and her history is quite long because she's very good when it comes to food and nutrition. But let's quickly watch her video where she was in the make of producing what she produces, and of course, how she makes it from scratch till the end. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. You're watching Women's Corner. Yes, can we have Dr. Olabisi Ademosun on the screen, please? Let's start the interview. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
I don't know, doctor, if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay, so first I would just want to ask, how did you start, what was the drive that made you say, okay, I want to start making food products? And of course, in relation to cervical cancer, what is the story behind it? I'm really interested because when I saw the profile, that was the first thing that, drew my attention. So please, why that? What drove you? What was the passion?
Can you hear me? It seems the reception is
Yes, I
quite
can. Please go
poor,
ahead.
but I can hear you very well from this side. Okay, so thank you for having me on the show. What actually prompted my food research is okay, right from school, I actually hate to be broke. It was not money initially, but it was passion. I've always had this flair for food. Food has always been my thing. So the cervical cancer aspect actually came up when I went for my PhD research. That was my PhD research work. But for food fortification, it started right from childhood. Then I was always helping my mom in the kitchen, and that was when I developed this flair for food for family. When she does her things, so that was when the flair for food fortification actually started. Yeah, I ventured into the business when I after my master's degree. Please, am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead.
Please, can you hear me? Okay. So when I went for my master's degree in Covenant University, I met my supervisor and he asked me, "What do you want to do for your master's dissertation?" I looked at myself. I was like, me. I was like, I didn't have any direction. There was nothing in my head. So the professor just gave me some what's it called? Some articles to go and read. And while I was going through those articles, I discovered that there were some that I was not even connecting with some of the topics there in chemistry. I knew I was not going to do well in those fields. And I particular food journal that the man gave me, and I was so engrossed reading that particular article, and that was when I developed my fear for food. And when I did my masters, I went into alternative healing food for babies, and that there was a reason attached to that. I went into alternative food for babies, and I developed my whole healing food from what I call waste. I used the wheat oval to develop that particular baby food. And during my defense, the external examiner asked me that, so BC, assuming you have a child now, can you feed the child with what you just produced? Like I was taken aback, like, hey, I cannot do this, I cannot, because there was no confidence. Although I did the right thing, but I didn't have the confidence to feed my child in that way with what I call a waste, which over, which was highly nutritious. Like I even compared it with on the shelf winning food, and mine was highly nutritious. So going from there, I abandoned that project, and right after masters, I had a shop around Songwater, a breakfast shop. I was selling breakfast, toast bread, um, noodles, and all that to people. And when I had my child, something happened. My first son, something happened. My son developed some nutrition related deficiencies, which made us to be a specimen in the hospital. We are always going to the hospital. And I didn't know that the problem was actually into the food I was eating until I woke up to my senses. So it's a very long story. So I had to go back to my relation. I now upgraded. I went back to do my research. I started the lab. That was when food, teach food having started with winning food for babies. So if you want to go into that, well, let me stop here for now. I don't know if you are hearing me. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Definitely, I'm listening to you. I'm trying not to interject. That's why I'm not speaking.
Okay, perfect. So what happened was that my son, I noticed that he started producing, he produced formula at 6 months, and was taken to crèche because I was busy with work. He was taken to, and I noticed that like every month we were always visiting the hospital. We had a card, we had personal doctor, and there was one day, like it got to a point that even at work I couldn't even tell my boss that my son was sick again. I was that ashamed because it was a frequent occurrence. The boy was just falling sick. Because at the end of the month, the dad would just pack all these foods, we pack it. So we give him one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night. We were doing it like that for a long time. So there was one particular day that I got so tired. My son started running temperature in the middle of the night again. That was after teaching like a week before then. I got so annoyed in my spirit, and I told my husband that the boy must get to Lagos that the following morning. So I called my elder sister to book an appointment with her home pediatrician, and we got there. And the man we did so many tests, and the man to ask me, what kind of food do you give your child? And I looked back like, hey, the house was filled with a lot of cans and jars. I said, so many food from this one to this one to this one to this one. The man said, on what kind of work do you do? I told him. The man said, go back home and start feeding your child with pap after the treatment. And that was it. We went back home. We just benched all the foods that we got. We benched all the foods for that period. And I told my husband that I did something on this in my master. So I now went back to the lab. I started putting grains together. That was when I developed my first winning food, Winnie infant cereal. That was, I now started giving my child that Winnie infant cereal without preservative, without additives, nothing. And that was the end of the ordeal. That was the end of the ordeal with my son. And I started producing this food to my friends, my neighbors, and gradually I started building that trust. That was how I started. Thank you.
Mm, nice one. So I'm just gonna say the passion came from your child, where he kept falling ill and falling ill, and you just needed to do something, and which is very important. And I've noticed in most nutritionists, they keep saying something. They tell you it's always better to feed your children with fruit, raw food, and not basically raw food, like not the canned processed food. Make sure that you're feeding them with the right portion of nutrients and vitamins, so they don't fall ill or their immune system goes very low. So that's a very beautiful one. Now I want to know, the food mix which you produce, that you said has a high potential for prophylactic treatment of cervical cancer. Can you make us understand exactly what that is?
Oh, okay. That was my PhD research. So what prompted this research was that I lost my very close auntie to cervical cancer. And that particular year was meant to pick a topic. I was meant to choose my PhD topic. And going through, when I was doing my literature review, and normally your food should be your medicine. Food itself is medicine. So your food, if you are eating right, your food is your medicine. So I went into research like what have they used to cure this thing in the past, like to prevent it. That's the prophylactic treatment to prevent this in the past. So I noticed some fruits and I consulted some professors and I asked them, how can I augment this particular food to increase the capacity to work in this field? And that was when I went into that research. And it took me 6 years. It took me 6 years on that research. And thankfully, we were able to get a particular extract that did like not exactly the same work as the cancer medicine, but it can actually compete with the cancer medicine which we are about to patent. It's still a working process. We are still working on it. So what I did was that I just took different types of fruits, I mixed it at different formulations, like raw fruit, which were processed, not with preservatives or additives or whatever. We dried them and we extracted the bioactive compounds in those foods. And we went to the lab. We tested it on cervical cancer cell lines, the raw cell lines itself. So that was what we did. So out of all the batches, it was only one expert that actually gave us the potential to cancer cell line, which we are still working on. We are still working on it to increase the capacity of that particular, to increase to help our food and to increase the capacity of that particular food mix to work on the cancer cell line. So that's just basically what we have done. That's basically what we have done so far. It's still a working process, but we are heading somewhere because we are collaborating with the medical personnel on this particular field. So that's for the cervical cancer is my PhD research work.
Hmm. Thank you very much for that response. Yes, I think we now understand exactly what you meant by that. So that brings me to the question. Let's talk about cancer just a little bit. Now, for those who have cancer or those who are trying to avoid cancer, what are the kind of lifestyle you advise them to take? Or for those who are maybe already have the cancer in them and they want to manage it and still stay longer, what kind of lifestyle would you advise them to also have?
So, okay, like I'm not a dietitian. I'm just a research student. Let me put it that way. So for people with cancer, I would advise they get a very good dietitian that can actually help to manage the cancer cells. At the onset of cancer, we don't work on that. What we did was to prevent that cancer, and also to create awareness on cervical cancer. That was what we did. So for those that already have the cancer, they definitely they will have a doctor to manage it. There are fruits online because what I do is that I work on tomatoes, and tomatoes has high capacity. It actually help to prevent cancer. That's the what tomatoes that we eat. The tomatoes that we eat. So the red color in that tomato can help to prevent cancer, especially prostate cancer and cervical cancer. That is what I encourage people to eat more of tomatoes, eat more of fruits, eat more of green vegetables, avoid processing, avoid it at all costs, avoid sugar, avoid sugary foods. That is what I advise people. But if dietitian is in the best position to, I'm talking based on my own research now. So I hope I've answered that question.
That at least you were able to, a lot of people will probably try to second guess or something, but it's nice you actually said people should meet a dietitian if they need to have a better diet when it comes to those who want to manage, not manage the cancer so it doesn't get bad. And of course you were able to still give advice to those who are trying not to get this cancer. Anyways, I'm going to ask about your organization, Winning Mom Nigeria, and Incubation Innovation Hub, then also the convener of of Operation Hope. So I want to ask, what exactly does Winning Mom organization do, and Incubation Innovation Hub? What exactly happens there?
So thank you for winning of what we do is that we go to hospitals to talk to pregnant women, to talk to new moms on their nutrition, their diet, and how to manage their babies. That's what we do, winning moms. For I'm in the academic environment, but that's my 9 to 5. So for incubation for what we do is that we have a particular group where we have undergraduates, and we try to send them grants to help them with their application. Majorly what we do is to apply for grants. We help undergraduates apply for grants. We send them guidance differently to apply for grants and also to do their IT outside of Nigeria. So Operation Hope started like play. Yeah, I was in church 2 years ago, and the particular old man sat in front of me with a disabled child. And I noticed that like my husband do give them money sometimes, and I wasn't it was on particularly November, there was November, and I noticed that God just ministered to me that help that child, said help the child, and I think I had 1K in my purse or two. I gave the maybe the grandmother or the one I didn't know, but the woman was kind of, I don't even know how whether hold or young, I can't even place her. So I gave the woman that money. And when I got back home, God told me that feed these people. And that was in November. I said, feed people. How? With what? With it money. Because then I was on the research. I didn't have much funds. I didn't have like this. My research actually dropped a lot from me. I didn't have money. But God told me, feed these people. And when I hear it like that, I share it with my husband and I share it with my mom. And that was it. That was how we started. The first call came out in November, and the people actually contributed money. That was how we were able to share food bags. And after I gave the girl money, that was the last time I saw that child in church. That was the last time I saw that mother and that child in church till now. I always see that at that particular point, waiting for them every Sunday to come around. And this is 2 years now. That was the last time I saw a particular woman. So that December, we were able to raise funds, and we distributed food bags, distributed rice, beans. In fact, I had everything that I had. I gave it to them. So last year too, the call came out, and we extended it to mosques. We went on the streets. We went to churches. In fact, I drove from my house to Akron area to start sharing food bags. We were able to feed 220. We had 220 food bags which comprised of we had rice, we had beans, we had gari, spaghetti, so many things like that inside the food bag. That was what we shared. And we also shared money to widows, and we also helped children that were in public schools without uniform and book. And that was what we did last year. The call is out again this year, and as it is, we are looking up unto God to help us this year. We are trying to feed 500 this year, and that is the plan. We usually share our food bag on Christmas Day and sometimes a week before Christmas, depending on the location. So that is what I do. It's just a movement. But the main thing I do is Operation Hope. My 6 weeks having Operation Hope is every December. 6 weeks having, like that one is every day. And the incubation club that is for graduates is there. Somebody is managing it for me, so it's there. So that's the map.
Hmm. Okay, amazing story right there. And I love the fact that most of your passion are coming from people around you, and of course it shows that you're worried about humanity and you want to be part of the people that or part of the people that will be mentioned in stories of those who did this for women, who did this for children. And of course, people rejoice and celebrate you eventually, and I'm sure they're already celebrating you and all of that. And it's a process, it's a growth. I know definitely in the next 5 years we'll be hearing something more already from you, which is amazing. But because of our time, before we let you go, do you have anything you want the public to know about when it comes to food and nutrition, especially in relation to cancer?
Oh, okay. Let me just say on the final bit, what I want you to know is that make your food your medicine, please. Especially mothers and people that are trying to watch what you are eating. Avoid eating I won't say this on live, but please make sure you know what you are feeding your children with, and make sure you know what you are eating yourself. Do more of homemade food. Make you see the everything that you eat at home is better than the sweet chicken that you want to go and eat. Please be very conscious of the type of thing that enters into your mouth. Please, that is your food. Just make your food your medicine. Make sure like every food you are eating is a medicine to you. Avoid junks, and if possible, please cut low on sugar. Cut low on sugar, and drink more of water. Drink water, cut low on sugar, and please always maintain a positive energy. A positive energy is very essential to women. Make sure that you maintain a positive energy. And please, treat yourself first. It is you first to your children need a happy mother. So be intentional about yourself, be intentional about your health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olabisi Ademosun, for joining us on the Galaxy TV, and thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing how people tend to, you find your passion or more like your muse from people around you, and before you know, you're already there and you enjoy exactly what you do. You can see all smiles, you're happy doing that. But from all of us at Galaxy TV, we want to appreciate Dr. Olabisi Ademosun. She's an entrepreneur, she's the CEO of Tit Food Heaven. She's also the founder of Winning Moms Nigerian Incubation Innovation Hub. She's also the convener of Operation Hope. And that was an amazing section. Thank you so much, Olabisi. We really do appreciate you. Okay, before we wrap up the show today, let's quickly go for another tips. And this one is to avoid substance abuse. Why? Is because if you learn from what she said, since it's food and nutrition, I know she was going to say that you have to drink a lot of water, you have to go low on sugar, you have to avoid junks, processed food, canned food, you have to avoid that, the fizzy drinks. Then also make sure you have positive energy. It's all about you first, because when there's life, there's hope. So once you go down 6 feet, I'm sorry, that's the end. But let's quickly go and see tips to avoid substance abuse. In whatever way, you just have to avoid abusing them. Even food, some people abuse food, and you obviously know what happens. There was a day I told someone, I said, do you know when you drink a lot of water, you're definitely going to have health issues? I was like, no, water is a friend of everybody, you can have issues. I was like, really? Go Google it up and you'll see that taking too much of water can affect you, and when you take low amount of water, it also affects you. So everything has to have a moderation. So let's quickly go for tips to avoid substance abuse, and we'll be right back to the studio to wrap up the show. Stay with us.
Tips to avoid substance abuse. Drug abuse is not inherently an issue, but misuse and addictions are conditions that are cause for concern. Finding ways or tips to prevent substance abuse start with recognizing that the potential exists. There could be many more reasons why addiction is a possibility, but by being proactive, you're less likely to develop a serious problem. While there is no foolproof way on how to prevent addiction, there are many ways to make the possibility less likely. 1. Learn how to maintain balance in your life. Life is all about maintaining a balance between work, leisure, family, and alone time. The ability to prevent substance abuse starts with the opportunity to maintain a proper balance between each of these. 2. Take time for self-care. Self-care is important as you should ultimately be the person that loves yourself the most. Whilst things like haircut and massage appointment may feel selfish, they are not. In order to feel like your best self, you have to treat yourself as such. 3. Consider the value of proper nutrition. You are what you eat is not just a cotton phrase, and also extremely valid in recognizing how food can ultimately affect our emotions. The best meal to enhance your mood is a balanced one. 4. Develop a game plan for stress and other negative emotions. Stress, sadness, and other forms of emotional pain will occur. There are many healthy ways to express and get over these emotions. Substance abuse never actually cures these feelings, it simply delays the pain. In order to get over a bad situation like losing a loved one or getting fired from your job, you must learn to walk through the pain. 5. Find out how addiction occurs. Substance abuse typically starts with the recreational use of alcohol or other addictive substances. It progresses to seeking out a state of intoxication each time that substance is used. Alcoholics can't have just one drink, but need to get drunk, even if it means overindulging to achieve this effect. 6. Resist peer pressure. 7. Take only prescribed medication. Doctors prescribe medication for specific reasons and only for a set of period of time. Teens who suffer from drug abuse should be careful with prescription medication, as these can often be addictive as well. 8. Obtain education on the dangers of drug abuse. 9. Examine your family history with substance use disorder.
All right, welcome back, and that's it on Women's Corner today. I hope you learned one or two things. We talked about food and nutrition, and of course, in relation to cancer treatment. And we had over Dr. Olabisi Ademosun. We did fantabulously well, sharing us a life story, sharing to us a life story, and how she got to get connected and have the passion to be able to create mixture or treatment, food treatment, basically, for in relation to cervical cancer. And of course, she's a lecturer, like we all know, and she has a food company. She also has some organizations that help both children and women, and she's doing okay, I'm always using Mr. Macaroni's word. She's always doing amazingly well. But anyways, that's what we'll call it a wrap today on Women's Corner. Tomorrow we'll continue with another interesting episode and exciting talk. But until then, my name is Rose Blossom. Up next, news on the hour, and right after that, we'll be having the buzz where we'll talk about the state and affairs of the country. Stay with me until I come your way again. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.